Be as curious as possible. I think the best networkers are the ones that listen and ask the right questions. I want to bypass a lot of that discovery phase of meeting a new person through having an extremely curated introduction with a goal in mind. The whole matchmaking aspect of plug and play is...
Hey, this is Mike from Intro Stars, and today we're very excited to bring a brand new episode of the Super Connectors podcast in New York. And for today's episode, we've got a very special treat for you. We've got the one and only Jersey boy, the investor at Plug and Play, Justin. Hey, Justin.
Hey, Mike. Thank you for having me.
Such a pleasure to have you there.
Yeah, I mean, I crossed 2 rivers all the way to Brooklyn for this. I'm excited. I'm excited.
So hopefully it's going to be worth it. So Justin, tell us what it means for you to be a super connector in the startup ecosystem at Plug and Play. Introductions are everything. Everyone needs introductions. So tell us more what it means for you when you hear those words, super connector.
I think it's connecting the dots. When you speak to people, it's almost like solving a puzzle. Everyone needs to connect with each other. Everyone's a unique piece. Some fit, some don't. And the only way you're going to discover if they do or not is through conversation and through being transparent with that network of yours. So I think more about the building trust aspect and the helping others rather than trying to find some monetization opportunity with it.
Yeah, and so when did you start, seeing yourself as a super connector? You go to so many events, you're outgoing, you're always connecting, meeting people. Was there like a moment you saw this journey ahead of you where, oh my gosh, I love to connect people. I want to be part of this startup ecosystem at Plug and Play?
Yeah, I mean, this was a very long time ago prior to Plug and Play. I was in high school and I competed in my first startup pitch competition, which I lost. And I went up to the judges afterwards to demand feedback. I wanted to improve. At the time, I didn't know anything about entrepreneurship. It simply was through a club, and a couple of my buddies invited me to pitch on their behalf. And that one conversation with one of the judges led to me attending my first ever conference in Manhattan, led to me hosting my first ever event, led to me working for my first ever startup, and now working for Plug and Play. It's been one of these insane domino effects that luckily enough, I've experienced it. But it all started with one question to a judge. So after having that experience, I know the importance of having a conversation.
Yeah, and so obviously you work with lots of startups and investors, and in the whole startup ecosystem, startups are always craving introductions to clients, investors, other startups they can share experiences with. So what are the types of introductions you make? Do you always go to events to build your network so you can connect the dots yourself? Like, what is your approach to it?
Definitely. So at Plug and Play, we've run a multitude of non-dilutive accelerator programs, and they're stage agnostic. So some of the founders I work with have 250 employees and 100 million in capital, and others have no capital and one co-founder. I try my best to meet them where they are. So I like to have very in-depth brainstorm conversations and strategy meetings with those founders. I learn their immediate needs and what is actually realistic. If they're a super early stage pre-seed company and they want an introduction to the CEO of a Fortune 100 company, it's not the most realistic thing. However, if they want to find a technical advisor or a CTO or a pre-seed investor, being able to identify those needs early on allows me to be in the market on their behalf. The reason why I love my job so much is because I get to work on behalf of multiple companies at a time. It allows me to kind of pivot how I'm thinking about the conversation. If I'm meeting with one person, I'll think of a couple companies. If I'm meeting with another person, I'll think of different companies. The main, proposition that I have for everyone that I meet is I follow a double opt-in policy. So I'm not here to kind of spray and pray with introductions. I want them to be highly curated. I want to bypass a lot of that discovery phase of meeting a new person through having an extremely curated introduction with a goal in mind of that introduction.
Yeah, I love a double opt-in. I think double opt-ins is the best way to make an introduction, where you make sure that each of the two people you want to introduce are actually excited to meet each other, so you can make it a proper match, right? So when did that come about? Did someone tell you about the double opt-in? You just learned it the hard way by making lots of spammy introductions? Like, how did it come about?
Yeah, it was a combination of two things. One is the culture at Plug and Play. I think a lot of us at the company really take pride in making extremely high quality introductions with a goal in mind. The other side of things is I experienced getting connected to individuals where it wasn't worth my time. It's always nice to meet new people, but when you're trying to be as productive as possible, some introductions aren't exactly always worthwhile.
Yeah.
So being able to, it's as simple as just sending a text or an email, be like, hey, met this person, here's why I think you should meet them. What do you think?
Yeah.
And then it allows the person to kind of understand your perspective on the intro And maybe that convinces them, like, yeah, I do want to talk to them. Sometimes when it's just completely out of the blue, it clogs up the inbox a bit, and you need to either take the meeting because you value that relationship of the introducer with yourself.
Yeah.
And then after that call, it doesn't go anywhere, and it just wasn't a worthwhile 30 minutes for either side.
I mean, I've been in that situation. People send me shitloads of introductions all the time, and some of them are a waste of time, for sure. And so you have to have that strength to say, no, actually, I don't think it's a good introduction, but thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Please send me more introductions, but more relevant, right?
Exactly. I think transparency is key.
Absolutely. So tell me more, how are you enjoying this? You, Justin, when you go to events and you meet people, you connect people, what brings you joy in all of that?
I love it. I think this is a bit counterintuitive with my last point about the double opt-in, but I was told when I was very young that even if it's a twin brother of mine, they've had thousands and thousands of seconds of different experiences and perspectives than I have. Even if we're in the same room talking to the same person, their angle is different than my angle. So I think about that when I'm meeting with other people. It allows me to learn through their experience because all of us have a limited time here.
Yeah.
So the more people I conversate with, the more pieces of intel I can gather. And it allows me to be more intelligent, to be, I guess, better connected to the community around me. So I take pride in spending as much time as possible meeting new people, even if it's sometimes not the most worthwhile.
So what advice do you have for other people around you? Talking to lots of founders who are quite young, trying to find their purpose in life, finding their place. Do you have any advice for them in terms of networking, building your network, introductions? Like, what is your advice for people who want to go on that path?
Be as curious as possible. I think the best networkers are the ones that listen and ask the right questions.
Yeah.
I don't think it's those who come with a pitch in mind and try to seek out the right audience for their pitch by pitching everyone in the room. I think it's people who question the audience to identify their right audience within the room. So making sure that you have well intentions and that you're curious about what everyone does, because asking the right questions will allow you to shape your conversation and how you network within that environment.
Yeah, and those questions are often about introductions, asking people, what introductions would you like? What introductions do you need to be successful? Because that's the best way to help people.
I think also on the flip side, there's a part of the human brain that likes being of value to others.
Yeah.
So when you're able to show someone that they could be very valuable to you by helping you with an introduction, I think that's a key component to some of the more empowering founders that I've worked with. They know when to ask someone to make an introduction, and they very much are extremely thankful for that introduction, and they show that it's very meaningful for them, and it makes the person making the introduction feel that much better.
So it really builds your personal brand as an introducer, as a connector that elevates your personal brand so people remember you as a great person to do business with. And that will help you in every walk of life, right? And I think that's the vision really. It's for everyone to elevate their personal brand by becoming great connectors.
100%. I measure the connections I make not by quantity, but by outcome.
Yeah.
So I really care deeply about the quality of the introductions, and I really do appreciate those who keep me in the loop so I can feel good about making that introduction down the line.
For sure. So what do you think a platform like IntroStars could change for all the startup founders out there who want to put it out loud and clear what introductions you're looking for, and then for introducers to track those introductions and get rewarded? What do you think that could change for startup founders or for introducers or both?
It's a funnel for curation. The ability for a founder to express the introductions that are required and why they're required, and also what value the recipient of that introduction is getting from that founder ahead of time, allows for more seamless double opt-ins to occur. And I think that saves everyone time. And when you're a founder, time is money.
Exactly. Every minute counts. Every introduction could be a game changer. And you want to make sure you make those introductions in a meaningful way and track them over time and make sure you can see the result. After a few months, you see all the introductions you made, all the introductions you received, and see the outcome, right?
Not even just seeing the outcome, I think that leads to additional motivation to do more. That every single time I'm informed that introduction that I probably forgot about already turned into something good.
Yeah.
It makes my day. We had one of our corporate partners. We went out for dinner after an event a couple months ago, and they told me that one of the founders I introduced them to at our Silicon Valley Summit led to a global integration between their software and that startup. Truth be told, until they mentioned that, I completely forgot I made the intro. I got pitched by the founder after meeting the president of this corporation.
Yeah.
And live, I connected them in person and walked away. So I didn't have a paper trail or anything. But the second they informed me about how successful that introduction was, I've made another 5 to that corporation because of how good I know they can be when working with an early stage company. And that's, I guess, just part of my role, especially their portfolio of ours.
Now, obviously, you're part of Plug and Play. So Plug and Play is there to help startups be successful. And a big part of that is networking and introductions, right? That's part of what Plug and Play does.
Definitely.
And so is that part of your day-to-day life now? Most of your time is spent connecting people?
Yeah, a combination of connecting and learning. So the best thing with me connecting is I try to deep dive on both sides on what's needed. And if there's a topic that I'm not exactly an expert in, I try to read up on it so I can identify good solutions. The whole matchmaking aspect of Plug and Play is identifying the right technologies, the right founders to introduce to our corporations. And through those introductions, we as investors get very good feedback on the performance of those solutions, so that we can allocate our funds more accurately into winners. It's all a race.
Yeah.
It's all a competition. We all know this.
But you're competitive, so you're loving it.
I'm very competitive.
I know.
I very much enjoy being in a competitive landscape.
That's awesome. So what are you focusing your energy on right now? Are there any like near-term projects you're working on? Where can people follow you?
Yeah, so best way to reach out to me is Justin Murray on LinkedIn. You'll see an early stage investor at Plug and Play, and there will be a picture of me sitting like this in a chair. So I hope I'm easy to find. In terms of near-term vision, we are working on establishing a community for Plug and Play. Plug and Play is across over 20 countries. We have 60 plus offices, and we see our opportunity in the Northeast being massive.
Yep.
We think being able to come in here and be professional connectors, great investors and supporters of early stage tech startups is needed in this ecosystem. And given the hustle culture of Manhattan and Jersey, we think that we're going to meet a lot of empowering founders here. So my near-term vision is expanding our team and our presence in the Northeast as we help more and more founders, corporations, and investors in our network.
Cool. I'm very excited to go to many of your events. I've always enjoyed them already. Super cool. So thank you so much, Justin. Really
Thanks for having me today.
And then, looking forward to making the world a better place by helping startup founders be more successful.
Of course.
Awesome, dude. Thanks so much. Take care.